Hello. So this is my method of tracking the process that we are currently in. I am actually going to start mid-story, rewind, and then keep you current moving forward. So today's Friday, April 30th.
I'm going back out, Mom.
Okay. Today's Friday, April 30th, and we started a process of building another home. Okay, so here's the background. When the basically COVID started, I was talking to a customer during my 9 to 5 job, and simply she had no idea what she was really saying to me. She's a realtor. She was indicating the area in which I live, how buildings, property, they're multiplying in value. So she said it, and I went to my husband. I'm like, babe, we could sell our home. The down payment of our current home could actually, the sale of this current home could go to a down payment of like a dream home. So we go searching around in the area, the school district that we love, and we're like, okay, not really trying to have a $400,000 house. I remember those numbers exactly. $400,000 house. Never mind. I'm not trying to increase my mortgage. That was attempt one. Attempt two, and I'm probably getting this out of order, but that's the fun part. Attempt two, there was, I don't even know who even brought it up to my attention. It might have been the same lady, just a totally different conversation, or something else prompted me to look at the values. So I'm going to Zillow, researching the values for my home, and I'm like, is this right? So I'm like, you know what? Nope. I'm going to instead refinance. Let's refinance, right? So then I start factoring the interest rate for refinancing versus the interest rate for a new build. I'm like, the interest rates are super, 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 super low. So I could, again, look at this value that I've now put my eyes to through Zillow and Redfin. So my husband's like, no, who wants a bigger mortgage? Makes no sense. We'll just refinance, get this home paid off sooner. Okay, perfect. So this, if I would give a timeline, like I am talking maybe April 2020 is when all of this is starting. Maybe April, May, June. Yeah, I would say April. So then we're like, you know what? Forget it. Let's finish our basement. Take our downstairs space it's unfinished. Let's go ahead and take that space and flip it. Turn it to because I train. So turn it to a gym space, and we did the floor, painted the ceilings, the wall. I'll have to go down there just to make this make sense. So turn it into a nice little gym studio. Okay, that will satisfy my desire, right? Yeah. So I know for sure June, because Father's Day, I kept thinking, oh my gosh, a dream home, we could sell this. So then Father's Day, I'm like, you know what? My husband's always wanted a patio. Father's Day, I'm going to surprise him. So the attempt was to build a fire pit from hand. The kids and he ended up doing it. That's another story. He and his friend ended up doing it on actual Father's Day. But so I ended up having a neighbor come pour concrete patio. Perfect. We're having fire pits, or fires, doing s'mores, the whole 9 yards. Super exciting. We have outdoor space. We have a gym space. What else do you need? So then fast forward to the lady I'm talking again. During my 9 to 5 job, basically I talk to all kinds of customers that have their own businesses. And so she's just asking for help, and then she mentions it again, like, yeah, man, this market is like really crazy. So I look again, I'm like, these prices, as in my current home, the value is just increasing from the initial time to this time now, about June, July. So I'm like, I visited again just briefly in my mind, but not with my husband. So my son, my eldest son, he actually plays baseball. So we're at a baseball game. This road gets closed. They actually reroute us, and they reroute us And I'm driving, having to where I'm going. My son often plays in like country roads and all this stuff, so just far away, not what I'm familiar with. And I'm driving, and I'm like, what neighborhood is this? So I passed this neighborhood that the homes are impeccable. I mean, jaw-dropping, Tanisha's version of this is a dream, okay? So I literally do a U-turn, go back inside, and I'm like, stop at the model and ask the gentleman if I could see the home. I see the home, and I'm like, this is my dream. I mean, this is my dream. This is my dream. This is like $5,000 square feet, like shy of 5,000, not including the unfinished basement that's in that home. And I'm just like, honey, come look at this place. He comes and looks. I was like, God, this house is beautiful. So then I physically reach out to a realtor, and she actually just comes by the house, and she's like, you know what, I'm familiar with this area. Talk about my current home. I'm very familiar with this area. You could sell the home. And I'm just like, I don't know if I like that dollar amount. Like Zillow, if you don't know, I guess isn't that accurate according to realtors. So it wasn't the dollar amount that I was like really, really desiring. But I'm like, you know what, you could still put $100,000 down. So fast forward, I have the realtor come out, and I'm just thinking like, well, who wants a box? So we have been living in this house. We actually built this house, thank the Lord. Built this wonderful house that we're in right now. We've been in it for 11 years. We just met our 11-year anniversary. And I'm like, who's trying to box up? So again, getting discouraged with, should I not, right? So then I'm like, you know what? I talked to my faith partner. I have a faith partner, and she's my aunt, and her name is Aunt Linda. So I'll call Aunt Linda. I'm like, what do you think? You know, this is this house that we've seen, and we haven't even factored in, you know, the additions we would want. Would we want a fireplace? Would we want a patio? Would we want to, you know, all these things? Like, this is not a cheap home. Keep in mind, I ran from the idea of a $400,000 home, right? So I end up going to my aunt, and she ended up just giving me her testimony from when she built her dream home. She designed it, whole 9 yards, built it from scratch. And she's just like, you know, relax, trust God. And what I love about her, she always brings me back to the basics, trust God, right? So I am dreaming about this house every single day. And I'm like, oh my Lord. So I talked to the guy. He's just like, you know what? Prices are going to increase. No pressure, but just want to let you know prices are going to increase. I'm just like, you know what, Lord, do me a favor and give me peace. I don't want to make a decision off of market. I don't want to make a decision off of interest rates. I want to truly make a decision that you know, that I know has come from you. I go, after praying, my aunt specifically, if I'm not mistaken, I was like talking to her on Thursday. She's just like, listen, wait 3 days and you pray all those days, you know. If you find peace in those days, then move forward. So I really wrestled with, because I'm a firm believer in knowing that God knows the end, right? He knows the end at the beginning. So I could be excited about whatever, but he knows my future. So I don't want to go on Tanisha, like whatsoever. I cannot go on what Tanisha wants to do, because Tanisha doesn't know her next thought, let alone 10 years from now, 20 years from now. So really had peace, and I was having a hard time trying to distinguish anxiety, excitement, and peace. That sounds crazy, but bear with me. The peace, as in the unction of my heart, was just like, you've dreamed this when you built this home. Like, no exaggeration. We built this home, have a faith partner. Her name's Sheena, and she just always makes me like dare to believe. She always challenges my faith without even knowing she's challenging my faith, right? Like, she always is just, you know, why not? God is able. And I love her, but I say all that to say, being around her for several years, I don't know how long we've been friends, but being around her for so long, it's just like, you know what? Yes, I'm building this house, but is it your dream home? So then I battled with feeling greedy. I battled with feeling, am I worthy? I battled feeling like, wait, this dollar amount? You complain about $400,000. What are you thinking about an even more expensive home? Like, super way more expensive home. What in the world would make you think that that's something that you should do? Especially if you freaked out about the $400,000. So I ended up praying, and my husband was just like, honey, we can do two things: check out the home, the dream home, and not to mention, during all this time, a lot of time has went by. We looked at so many homes, so many different neighborhoods, and it's like no matter what, we would circle back. When I say we, my husband and all three of my children, like, but mom, that one that we went to, that's the one I love. So I just kept saying, oh my gosh, like, this is meant. But if there are any believers listening to this, you know how I know I'll speak for myself. You can accidentally, I don't even know if I want to say accidentally, but you can actually, like, your thoughts, right, can sound like God's thoughts. And you're like, wait, is this me or this God? So I really didn't know where my excitement, the voice that I was hearing, right? So my kids are coming in. So anyway, I end up talking to my husband. He's like, the worst thing that could happen is we're here in the home that we built. Like, what could happen from there? So then I sat and I said, I don't know what to do. So continued to pray, called my aunt. She's like, do you have that peace? Like, my definition of peace, I have peace. And I just began my journaling. I began my, like, writing out, Father, if this be your will, so be it. End up contacting the gentleman. I'm just like, this dollar amount of this home, So I end up contacting the lender, the preferred lender that they use, and they're just like, application, your social, your income, your all these things. So then I do all this, and then it outlines, outline your checking account balances, your accounts, your savings, blah, blah, blah. And when I say the Lord is my witness, guys, I had no idea. Let me rephrase. I had totally forgot about this 401k account that I had. And when I mean totally forgot, as in I put money into it, my employer matches it, and I just never look at it. But doing this application reminded me of, they ask you about your accounts. I'm like, what is this balance in this account? What is even there? So I filled out the application, like, yes, I do have it. And then obviously I had to go get my information, my password and all that information to find out, like, what is inside this account. When I say it was more money than I ever knew that I had, okay? So I'm like, oh my gosh. So we finished the information. So not only did we get our pre-approval, we got a pre-approval where we didn't even have to sell this current home. So I'm like, okay, Lord, I asked you to make it very clear and make every step I feel your peace. So we finalized that application. I want to make sure I'm accurate here. I want to say September. Now keep in mind, from the time this initial conversation and this back and forth, how you have to patiently wait for the Lord, the initial conversation probably began like March or April of 2020. So got that confirmation in my heart. It took a while. It took a while for me to drown out my voice. It took a while for me to drown out what I was feeling and really let the Lord speak and give me that confirmation of peace. So I am going to make this really fun and make this so many parts. So I'm going to stop there. That way I know where to restart. And hopefully you'll join me on this journey called faith. This is called faith. I'm calling this journey, I don't know, Faith with Frasers. Something cool. I'll think of something cool and catchy. But this is part 1, and I will see you next time. Have a good one.